Hello. So for client services, I have some updates I want to go over with all of the three sections taking this course. And first off, I'd just like to say that I want to make sure you guys are up to speed on everything as we go forward. Please, if you're unsure what's going on or you have a question for me, reach out on D2L or email, and I'll be available. I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Okay, so the items I want to discuss, first off, is quiz number 2. So we had a quiz number 2 scheduled. Unfortunately, it had to be postponed. What I'm going to do to make up for that, that quiz is I will be posting next Wednesday a take-home quiz. It'll be posted on D2L, and you will have 24 hours to complete it. And then you'll submit it on D2L, and that will count for your quiz number 2 mark. Now, the quiz proportion for this course is 30% of the final, and that'll be 2 quizzes that we'll have done, so both will be worth 15%. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is the course project. So we only have really a couple weeks, basically, until the course project is due on April 7th. So I really want to encourage the teams to start thinking about this and really getting to work and finishing up this project. I'm in this video, after I'm done chatting up here, I'm going to actually walk through a few steps and demonstrate some of the features of JIRA Software and Confluence. These are the 2 software products that you're going to be using for this project. Okay, after that, chapters 8 and 9. Now, depending upon what section you're in, I might have finished up at chapter 7, or I might have also started with chapter 8. Regardless, we didn't complete both of these chapters, and these are the last 2 chapters for the course. So, within the next, I would say, week, you can expect to see YouTube videos where I will be going through the material from chapters 8 and 9. And the last thing to mention is the final exam. I'm still trying to work out the details of what's going to be done with the final exam. I was hoping by the time I would create this video for you, I would have a definite answer, but at this point I don't. As soon as I know more information, I will be posting that on D2L and messaging you with that. All right. So what I'd like to do next, I'm going to go through and some steps with JIRA Software and Confluence Software, and we'll go over a little bit more about the course project number 2. Hello. Okay, so welcome back. Let's go through some stuff on my computer here. So I guess I better share my screen here. All right. So on the D2L shell, we've got the course project. First thing I'll point out is I have a file here where I want each group to contact me and let me know what product you're going to be using for the second project. It could be, like I said, it could be anything you could choose. It could be an app, a piece of software. It could be a car. Really, it's pretty much unlimited. It just needs to be a project a product where you can log 4 bugs and then come up with 2 tasks to improve the product. All right, so let's go back and we'll look at the actual specifications for the project here. Okay, so the first part here just talks a little bit about JIRA and Confluence. And here are the main parts of JIRA. The one that we're going to focus on is JIRA Software. So this is a product that allows us to basically plan the development of really any type of product, but it's specifically tailored to a software product. So something like a video game, an app. This is what JIRA Software is for. All right. And the other product that we're going to look at as well is Confluence. All right. And the way I look at Confluence, basically anytime you're working on a project in a team setting, you're going to have all kinds of different files, whether it's Word documents, spreadsheets, images, and you're going to be basically passing these files around between the team members. Some of these files might be like a shared drive somewhere on the cloud. Other ones might come to you as email attachments. And on a fairly large project, what ends up happening is that you get a lot of clutter. And after working on something for, say, like a few months, you go back to try to find some of these files, and it takes you a long time to retrieve them, and to keep them organized is a real nightmare. So that's pretty much what Confluence solves, is you create what's called a Confluence space, and you create folders in that space, and you organize all of your documents, and you share, the entire team shares this space. So whenever you need to access a document, as long as you're managing your Confluence space, it should be really easy to go in and find your documents. The other thing that Confluence does really well is they create what are called pages. So it's kind of a fancy wiki, essentially. And you can basically create these really simple websites by using what are called macros. And you drag these macros in. Macros can be images, hyperlinks, charts, tables, bulleted lists. It can link to other JIRA products. There's tons and tons of macros, and you can create these really nice looking wiki pages. And using these wiki pages, you can then attach them to different features that you might be adding to your product. And then that way, if someone needs to go work on it, they have this nice wiki that explains in all the details of what they're going to have to do. All right, so let's look at what you have to do for this project. So the account setup, basically the team leader needs to go in, create their JIRA account, and they're going to activate a Confluence space as well with that. Once that's done, then they're going to go and invite all their other team members into their JIRA accounts. So that should be fairly simple to do. Keep in mind, JIRA is kind of, you think about it like a Microsoft product where there's lots and lots of online documentation. So if you go to do something, you can't find it, you can easily find the information online. So setting up the accounts, first thing. If you have any issues with that, let me know. As well, I'm going to ask every group invite me into their JIRA account. That way it'll make it easy for me to grade the work that you're doing. And of course, if this is Prangel's group, invite Prangel and sync up with him in terms of what he wants. Okay, so next one is choosing a product. Now, I think this is actually kind of tricky. I was sitting there thinking, well, what product am I going to demonstrate to you guys when I go through and do this? And I mean, the only one that's easy for me to do is video games, right? Because I'm fairly familiar with them. So a video game works really well for this project, by the way, because you can pretty much easily come up with 4 bugs, and then you can probably think of a couple features you might want to use. So that's definitely one suggestion I have. Now, the thing is, not everybody in your groups plays video games, so it might be better to pick a product that everyone is maybe a bit more familiar with. So for example, you could look at a car, maybe you could look at a mobile device, something like that everyone is more familiar with and would be more comfortable working on, would be my suggestion. So you choose your product. Now, for me, the product I decided to choose is, I think I showed you guys this in previous classes, just as when we had a bit of extra time, but I am going to choose my Blocks.io multiplayer game. So right now, the only work I've really done on this recently was I've added bots. So when I jump in, the bots are not there. Where are the bots? Hold on. All right, let's try this again. So hopefully the bots will be here this time. So I'll enter my name, go into my game. Okay, here's my bots. So which one? I'm right there. Okay, I got this. So the bots are, they're not particularly good. They can basically just traverse the space without killing themselves but they don't have any real intelligence at this point. So that's definitely one improvement I need to make to my game. And the other one is I want to add a spectator mode. So here we go, champion. Okay, so, and basically once I've done playing that game, I can go back in and the bots are there. So I've put a little bit of work into these bots so far, but I need to, oh, I just died. I need to make it so that their behavior is a little bit more fun to play, so that if someone were to try out this game, they would actually keep coming back and you know, wanting to play again and again, hopefully. So I'll just close this. Okay. So that's going to be the product that I'm going to use for mine. So all I have to do is log 4 bugs, and then I'd have to come up with 2 improvements for my project. So choose my product, JIRA Bugs, 12 marks. Now the good thing here is this is very similar to what you guys did in the last project. Only difference is we're not using Spiceworks anymore. So you can compare the differences between JIRA Software and Spiceworks. In terms of how you would add bugs, how many options you have. And I think you'll find that JIRA is much more powerful. There's many more options involved, which is usually a good thing. But because there are quite a few more options, it might take you a little bit more time just to get up to speed with how JIRA works. So basically you create 4 bugs. You have to put in a summary of the bug, a description, you give it a priority. You can mark down what the environment is. So in my case, it would be in a web browser would be the environment. And then an attachment, it's always good to have attachments, any screenshots. If I was logging a bug for that game, I would definitely try to screenshot the issue that I had. All right, moving on, JIRA Features. So here you're gonna create 2 new feature tickets in JIRA Software. And just like bugs, that's really quite easy to do. And then I'm just going to fill out some information on the 2 features. So the summary, a description, a priority, and then an estimate about how long it's going to take to do each of the features. All right. Now the biggest part of one of the biggest parts, so 15 marks. So yeah, it is actually the biggest, is going to be your Confluence page. So for one of these features, you're going to also create a Confluence page. And to do that, you first have to make a Confluence space. And the page is going to contain details about one of the features that you're going to add. Now, I want you to include several things in your page. Now, I just kind of picked these at random, and what these are called macros in Confluence. So these are basically pre-made components that you can add in to your Confluence page. So for example, images, emojis, a table, and then I want you to pick 2 additional macros. You can choose whichever one you want. And there's a whole bunch in Confluence. And then this page, the purpose of it is to describe a really detailed description of what your new feature is. And the last thing, once you have your Confluence page created, I want you to link that to your JIRA feature. So let's go in. I'll try to demonstrate a little bit of this. Keep in mind, any issues or any things that you don't know how to do with JIRA, it's very easy to look up. So you don't really need to rely on me, hopefully, to like guide you through step by step. But this is just kind of an overview of some of the things you'll need to do. So basically, you come into JIRA, and in my account, you'll notice I have a JIRA account and I have a Confluence account. So one of the first things you have to do is make sure you select those 2 products. Now there are several other products. You can see here I have JIRA Service Desk. I have this other one. I'm not even going to try to say that word. Oops Genie. Okay, it's not that bad. These are other products. I haven't tried them out, but you could also add those. But for this project, you don't need to. So select JIRA Software and JIRA Confluence. Now, for JIRA Software, you need to create a project. So one of the options you should see is just simply create project. And so basically it's just saying that I want a JIRA Software project. Okay. And I guess there's a few different options here in terms of how I want to monitor my work. That shouldn't actually matter. Oops, where'd I go? Okay, let me just go back to my project. Okay, create project. I'm just going to go with bug tracking. So essentially that's a fairly simple one. So I will select this. I think if you selected any of them, it wouldn't really matter too much. And I'm going to call my project Client Service Project 2. Okay. Now you notice it creates a key here. This key is used as a prefix for any tasks or bugs that you create later. But it really doesn't matter too much. I mean, that default one is probably fine, CSP2. So I'm going to go now and create my project. All right. And as soon as I have my project, now I can begin adding my bugs and my tasks. So to add a bug, all I would do is go over to the Create section. And I have the project selected, and I can pick whatever issue type I want. So if it's going to be a bug, I would select bug. And then for my summary, perhaps sometimes when I go to my website, as you guys just saw, the bots are not available to play. All right. So bots not available to play game sometimes. All right. And then I can go in, I can give a more detailed description. I can assign my priority right here. Now the reporter is going to be the person who obviously creates the ticket. I can put in an estimate of how long it might be to fix this bug. And then the environment, I can fill that in as well. So these are just some of the fields. If I wanted, I could put a due date in as well. Okay, and I would just then go ahead once I filled in all my information. So I'll just say description of bug. When I went to demonstrate game, there were no bots present. Okay. And I'll go ahead and I'll create this bug right now. Okay. So I get a little pop-up indicating I've created my bug. And then if I were to go and just select my open issues, I should see a list populate that this issue will appear in. Just waiting on that. Am I getting any no issues were found with open issues, my open issues? Come on. Okay, that's all issues. Okay, here we go. We got an issue. It's unassigned maybe. So it's in the, okay, so it's to do. So I would have to take that issue and move it to, I guess because it's a bug, it doesn't have, potentially it doesn't have that, that option. All right, anyway, so I can see it under all issues, right? That's the important thing. Now, keep in mind, another step that you need to do in this project is invite all of your other group members. So everyone should be able to log in and see your JIRA products. So once I've invited my team members in, I can hit this drop down and I should see all my other team members there. I can then take that bug and assign it to one of the people on my team. All right, let's do one of my new features then. So I'm going to create another ticket. This time I'm going to go in and I'm going to create a new feature. Okay. Now, one of the features that I want to add is going to be a spectator mode. So essentially, if you come into the game and there's a bunch of games taking place, I want you to have the ability to basically go in and spectate and watch a bunch of games in action, potentially while you wait for your lobby to fill up. So I'm going to just basically put in a summary here that this is going to be called spectator mode. Okay, and the description is pretty simple, but I want the players to be able to view matches in progress. Okay, and do I have any other fields? I have a priority. Now, a new feature definitely needs a estimate. So let's say I estimate I could create this feature in about 2 days. All right, seems like a pretty reasonable amount of time. Sorry, that wouldn't go there. That would go in original estimate. So 2 days, sorry. Okay, 2 days, I can put that in. And then I can go ahead and create this new task. So now if I click on all issues, Okay, there we go. So I see spectator mode is one of the issues that I'm seeing. Now, I could go ahead and create my second new feature if I wanted. But what I'd like to focus on now is the last part here related to the Confluence page. So let's go over to Confluence. We'll look at that a little bit. And keep in mind, one of the tasks I need to do is link a Confluence page to one of my JIRA new features. So if I look at this spectator mode, I have the option here under Link Issue to link a Confluence page. So if I select this, right now I don't have any Confluence pages, obviously. But what I can do next is go create my page, then I can come back here and I can link it in. So I'm gonna go down to my accounts and I'm gonna switch to my Confluence account. All right, so here's my Confluence account. I don't have any spaces at this point, so the first thing you wanna do is create a space. And a space basically represents a project that you're gonna be sharing documents and collaborating on. So I'm gonna select create, and there's a bunch of pre-made templates that you can use. In this case, I'm just gonna create a blank space. All right, the space name is going to be called Client Service Project 2. Now, you guys can, I probably encourage you to come up with a more creative name than that. I'm just, picking this, just the first thing that pops into my mind. It's also clear what it is I'm showing you. So I go ahead and create my space. Okay. So when we first create the space, what you notice is there's basically a home page created for us. And if I want, I can go in and I can edit this home page. So potentially I could edit this page that I have here, and this could be the page that actually talks about the new feature. But usually that's not what you'd want to do. This page here would kind of be a sort of a portal where everyone could kind of come together and they could sort of see what project they're working on, and information about the project and the team should be on the this home page right here. So I'll close that out. I'm not going to go in and edit that. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click create, and I'm going to create now a blank page. So I'll create that. And basically now I can go and I have a really powerful text editor here. So for my page title, I'm going to be, this page is going to relate to the spectator mode. So it's a spectator mode feature. And now I can go and start typing, adding things in. Now I've talked about macros. Macros are basically components that I can place into my page. And all of these macros here are up at the top. So what I encourage you and your groups to do is play around with the macros, try some of them out. I'm looking for a fair bit of effort on this page. When you're done, I want to see something that looks pretty impressive, that has pictures, images, really sort of describes with visual terms what the new feature is. So I can just drag in some different things here. I could have a, let's see here. Okay, so I can grab an emoji. I can grab a table, okay? And then I can go in and do some formatting. There's images up here. I can go in and upload an image and place that into my page. And once I'm done, I'm just gonna go ahead and publish the page. And there we go. So once I've put a lot of effort and gotten this page looking the way I want it, I can now go back to my JIRA and in my spectator mode task, I can go link, and I can link a Confluence page. And notice I have two pages that pop up. The first one here is the home page, or sorry, the second one is the home page. The first one is the spectator mode feature. So I'm gonna make sure I pick the correct one, and then I will link that Confluence page. So this makes it really more powerful. If I'm adding a really big complex feature, just filling out the forms that come with the JIRA software ticket, I can only be so descriptive. And that's where linking a Confluence page can really enhance the planning of my project. All right, so that's pretty much it for JIRA. in Confluence. Now there's one other step that I didn't show you that might come up. Let's say you create your Confluence page and you come back to your JIRA and you go to link it and nothing pops up here, okay? You know you've created a Confluence page, but you don't see the option, you don't see it populating. All that means is that you haven't linked the two accounts properly, and you're just missing a step to basically combine the JIRA and the Confluence. And there's just a really simple step that you can search for that'll allow you to do that. So just keep that in mind if you run into that issue. All right, so to wrap things up, what I'm expecting for the groups, first off, if you guys are having any issues with this, please get in touch with me. Because we're shifting to the online learning, it really requires us to keep up the communication, keep those lines of communication open. And the other one, as soon as you can, please have the leader of each group send me the product that you're going to use for the project. And that way I can add this into the list I have, and I know that everyone is working on something different. Also keep in mind when you set up your JIRA, please remember to invite me. If Pranjal's your teacher, invite Pranjal using our school email into your accounts. Okay, well that's going to conclude that. So keep in mind we're going to do the take-home quiz. Okay, I'll be posting information about that on D2L. And I'll also be creating some videos shortly for Chapter 8 and Chapter 9. That way you can, review that material and study that material. And that'll pretty much cover all of the course material then once we finish Chapter 9. Okay, all right. Talk to you guys later.